Good evening, everyone. Today is Tuesday, April 11th, 2023, and I'd like to call this Committee of a Whole meeting to order. Mr. Deputy Clerk, please read the roll.
Council President Collins Bellamy.
Here.
Majority Leader Diaz.
Present.
Majority Whip Rubo.
Here.
Minority Leader Breen.
Here.
Council Member Williams.
Here.
Council Member Pineda Isaac is absent. Council Member Moranti.
Here.
Council President, we have no speakers and we don't have any communication inside of this.
Okay. Do we have anyone in the gallery who would like to speak on any of the items on tonight's agenda? Seeing none, if there are no communications and no speakers in the gallery, we will hereby close this meeting.
Freddy.
Good evening, folks. I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, let's talk about the meeting that went down tonight over at City Hall. It's Tuesday. That means city council members meet. Finally got a haircut. I do a lot of stuff. Folks, good evening. Happy Tuesday. I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, I want to talk about the city council meeting, go over some of the things that they said. They discussed more zoning changes. You guys should be concerned about all the zoning changes. Also, the CLSA contract. Now we see the contracts happening, right? Why is that? It's election year. We want the endorsements. Of course. Let's hear what they had to say.
Good evening, everyone. Today is Tuesday, April 11th, 2023. This is the stated meeting of the Yonkers City Council. Mr. Deputy.
And designated on the official 2023 approved on the motion of Majority Leader Diaz.
Minutes are duly accepted.
Council President, we have 9 items on the agenda this evening, 9 items. The first item is a general ordinance, amending General Ordinance Number 4, 2000, also known as Chapter 43 of the Zoning Code of the City of Yonkers, commonly known as Zoning Ordinance of the City of Yonkers, and the accompanying zoning map by amending said map by changing the zone classification of 21 Scarsdale Road, also known as Section 4, Block 4544, Lot 1, as shown and designated on the official.
Well, zoning changed, 21 Scarsdale Road. We've mentioned that here in the podcast. That was directly across the street from the restaurant where Mike Breen was having his fundraiser. That fundraiser where Ron Matson had the Retire Breen banner. Remember that?
This is section 43-165 of the zoning code.
Correct.
Okay.
That was adopted 7-0.
Next item is a general ordinance amending Article 9 of Chapter 109 of the Code of the City of Yonkers entitled Stopping, Standing, and Parking in relation to commercial and other vehicle momentary parking.
Okay, we're going to return this item to the Rules Committee.
That item was returned to the Rules Committee. Stopping, parking. I don't know what else he just said there, but it pertains to double parked cars and traffic and trucks now that we have become officially the 6th borough. We are Bronkers. So now you see the massive amounts of traffic in the downtown area. You see all the little scooters, all the different cabs from the city, Ubers and Lyfts. It's getting very crowded out there. People are triple parking now.
Item number 3 is a general ordinance amending Chapter 23 of the Code of the City of Yonkers, commonly known as cabarets, dance halls, and sidewalk cafes by changing the annual fee, all references to the Director of Licensing and...
That was awesome. sent back to
Seeing
rules.
none, we will close the floor and bring this item to a vote. Mr. Deputy Clerk, all members by name.
Adopted 7-0. Item number 5 is a resolution approving an IMA between the City of Yonkers and the County of Westchester regarding
My deputy, Dusan Lockett, will discuss the new contract terms and generality.
This is about the contract, the new contract, CLSA, Captains, Lieutenants, Sergeants Association, the union. And we've been talking about CLSA a lot in the Anthony DiMaggio podcast. So now they are going to go ahead and settle their contract. Of course, they do this every election year. Whenever there's a contract that's due, they want that endorsement. And so they wait for the right moment now that the primaries are coming up. Mike Spano wants the endorsement of the CLSA, the Yonkers PBA, and the police department. That's a big endorsement because, as I've mentioned, the city of Yonkers, the people love the Yonkers Police Department. We love our men and women in uniform. We do. We respect them. We highly praise them. And so they know that if they get their endorsement, then we are going to lean toward them because they got their endorsement, right? They got the endorsement of the police. That must mean something. But it's all politics. It's all backroom deals.
And then the budget director will discuss the fiscal impact of the new contract,
Thank
which
you.
was ratified, by the way.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. This memorandum of agreement has several components to it. The term of the contract or the successor agreement is from July 1st, 2019 to June 30th, 2024, to the end of that fiscal year. There are various components to the agreement, including a general wage increase over that period of time equaling 11%. In the first 2 years of the agreement, there's also a lump sum that is not applied to the salary schedule of $1,300 in each of those years. In addition to that, there are some other sort of additions to the both economic and non-economic terms of the agreement. For example, there's an addition of police experience and retention pay. Any members who reach 21 years of service will have the additional 2% added to the base salary. There has been addition to members who are in the emergency service unit of a increase in the stipend to $1,750 per year, in addition to a stipend for those members who also hold an advanced emergency medical technician, a paramedic certification, which I believe are some members of ESU as well. In addition to that, there's been an addition of another salary increase for members who are part of specialized units, such as the Warrant Squad, Community Affairs Division, Pattern Crimes Unit, and the Field Intelligence Unit. That's reflected in paragraph 11 of the agreement. On paragraph 13, for example, there is an addition of a parental leave benefit totaling 5 consecutive days. That starts within 30 days of birth or adoption of a child. In return, the union has agreed to permit the city to freeze the per member contribution rate under the welfare fund. That freeze would go into effect now until June 30th of 2024, the end of that fiscal year. There's also a forgoing of a uniform allowance checks that's reflected in paragraph 16. And in the remaining 2 paragraphs of the agreement, there's an agreement to settle some pending cases that were filed with the Public Employment Relations Board and the withdrawal of demand for impact bargaining that's reflected in paragraph 18. And that is a general summary of the memorandum of agreement. I'll defer to the budget director to discuss some of the financial terms of the agreement.
Sure.
Now, how much will it cost?
Thank you, Dushan. For fiscal year 2023, the estimated cost, including fringe benefit, would be about $5.9 million to the city. These costs are within the amounts budgeted for fiscal '23 in both the combination of the contractual settlements account and in the contingency, which was set up to settle these union contracts, which the council adopted that budget in FY '23. In FY '24, the cost would be about $4.3 million. However, some of those costs really are pension costs, which would be deferred until '25 because we pay on a 16-month lag. And so I just wanted to document, because since the contract only goes up to FY '24, I included those costs in FY '24. So in total, to settle this contract, it will cost by the end of the contract an additional $10.1 million to the city. And that is now, we can pay these amounts with the monies that were budgeted for '23.
So contracts, what are they getting? They're getting pretty good stuff here, right? First, this contract is going to be from July, I guess you said 2019 to June of 2024. And so it's retro pay. So they're going to get, 2019, 2020, 21, 22 retro pay, right, for all these increases that they're entitled to. The first 2 years, they'll get a lump sum of $1,300. I said first 2 years to each member. And throughout the contract, it would have been a raise of 11% over the time of that contract, 11%. When an officer reaches 21 years, they get an additional 2% raise for like a retention raise, for being with the department for so long. ESU members or guys that are in the emergency service unit get an increase in their stipend to $1,700 per year. And that's in addition to another stipend that they get. Salary increase for specialized units. And then salary increases for specialized unit. Parental leave benefits, 5 consecutive days for parental leave, I guess if they give birth. And the union agrees to give up per member contribution, freeze on the per member contribution to the per member. I don't know what that means. Maybe Anthony, you could tell me. Per member contribution fund or welfare check, uniform allowance. I guess they don't have to give them a uniform allowance. I guess if you're getting, $1,300, you can pay for uniform. And 17, you can pay for uniform, right? Right. They agree to settle some cases. I guess that some public employment board. I don't know what that means. And Anthony, maybe you could tell me cases. I guess maybe some officers are, involved with the city there, and also forget about impact targeted negotiations or something like that, Anthony. Maybe you could also give me some stuff on that. But anyway, the total cost of the city will be $10.1 million. That's what it will cost the city to settle this contract. And so, I'm all for, our supporting our, officers, law enforcement officers. I just would say we want to make sure if the city can afford it. Can the city afford this raise? The city is almost in $3 billion debt. Where will this money come from? They said they budgeted for this in the 2023 budget, which is going to be presented to us soon by the mayor. So I'll be reviewing that and then discussing it here on the podcast. But again, the city is in debt, $3 billion. And so are these raises and all these accommodations being given on these contracts? Not that they don't deserve it. That's not what I'm saying. Don't misconstrue what I'm saying. Or part of just trying to, gain support from police officers for this 4th term, like they've done many other elections for the endorsement. We still have the Yonkers PBA contract, right? I believe that has been set. I don't know. I have to look at that, but that's money. These raises cost money, and you've seen a lot of people get promoted recently. That's more money that the city's going to have to pay. And this is what the comptroller's talked about when he's criticized the city for using non-reoccurring funds to cover recurring cost. So when you give a raise to an employee, now they're going to have that raise for the length of their employment. And if you're doing that based on additional money you get, like a one-shot deal, like in the pandemic, or some additional funds that the state or federal government has given the city, a one-time deal, and then you budget because of that, what are they going to do moving forward? Where are they going to get the money to continue paying that increase? right? So that's what we have to also think about. A lot of officers, a lot of people have gotten raises, and now they have this contract that's going to give them, I'm sorry, promotions, which come with raises, and now they're going to have this contract to give them, additional raises. And if you watch the report or the podcast that I did a few podcasts ago, maybe it was like a week ago, not a few weeks ago, about a week or two ago, where I discussed the comptroller's reports and what they discovered in there in terms of, the hours that were being given to individuals in their bank that were not earned. Many people were leaving, right, retiring and getting compensated for hundreds of hours that they never earned, hours over a maximum that they are even allowed to carry over, but somehow they were carrying them over anyway. There were officers or employees who were receiving paid leave that they had not earned, so they were in the negative. So the city's going into debt for individuals, paying them for time they haven't earned, right? And so there was a lot of wasteful spending because of poor oversight, whether it's done intentionally or not. It's still costing the city taxpayers millions and millions of dollars in wasted money. And it's not wasted, I guess, for the people getting it. They're putting it in their pocket. But for taxpayers, it's wasted. It's not going to other areas within the city that money is needed, so desperately needed, like our educational system. So I want to let you hear what the council members had to say, specifically Mike Breen. And why Mike Breen? Because he has a son and a daughter who are both police officers, who both were recently promoted to sergeants. So this contract, it pertains to them, those two individuals. And their dad, Mr. Mike Breen, is voting on it. So of course he's going to vote yeah. His kid's going to get a raise. They already got the promotion. Now they're going to get a raise. And many say that's because he voted for the 4th term. He's playing along with this, he's going along with the agenda, with the plan. And for that, he's being rewarded. And that's part of his rewards, right? So I want to let you hear what they had to say here in returns to why. It cost the city $10.1 million plus whatever Mayor for Life lets Mikey Hanley plunder in overtime after he transferred him to the training unit. That'll be $100,000 per year until he retires. So, yeah, and someone said yesterday, as a taxpayer, I am disgusted. And yeah, you guys should. Taxpayers here in the city of Yonkers, if you're paying a lot of money in taxes, you should know about this. You wonder why your taxes go up. They have to cover these added expenses that they took on because of one-shot deals, money given to the city by the federal government. But now they got to continue paying for that. So we got to raise taxes. We got to raise the cost of other things, right? And who pays for that? The people. Like the increase in the water bill. I'm sure many of you have been seeing recently. Why is that? Well, I know that the developers are using a lot of water. They're connecting hoses to the fire hydrants with no meters, so they're not paying for the water. When I asked the guy from the water department who was at a development site one day, he said I had to ask the mayor. Call the mayor's office. I don't know why. You're the water department. You don't know why developers are being allowed to attach hoses. I mean, these are the firefighter type hoses to the hydrants to use in their developments, which they have to do, spray down, whatever it is that they're demolishing, the rock and stuff, to keep all that dust that I showed you once from going all over. That costs money. But are the developers paying for it, or is the cost being passed down to the residents? That looks like what might be happening, which is why you're paying more in water. So you should care about this, unless you enjoy paying more money.
And you will also see these amounts budgeted when the mayor releases his budget on April 14th. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any questions or comments from the council? We begin with Minority Leader Breen.
Thank you, Madam Council President. I just wanted to state for the record, and I've spoken with Corporation Counsel, that I do have family members in this organization. I will be voting for it. I've been told there's no issue, but I am, just to be transparent, going to bring that subject up. I appreciate all the work that went into this contract from both sides. That's how contracts get ironed out, and I look forward to voting for this tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Moranti.
Thank you, Madam Council President and / Budget Chair at this particular moment. I will be supporting this item. I appreciate, I had a conversation with the budget director beforehand to look at what the costs were. I'm glad we were able to go over it. I think everything seems fair. The men and women that represent this organization deserve
come on.
everything they get, considering the pressure that the police have been put under these days. They're under a microscope more than anybody, I think, in the world. And I respect everything that you guys do.
Oh, man,
and
this
on
is
a
about the
day-to-day
budget,
basis, and,
Moranti. You are an
deserve every
accountant.
penny
You are
you
the
get.
actual
So,
chair of the budget committee. That's why he made that remark to Lakeisha Collins Bellamy, the city council president, because they're discussing budget matters and he is not sitting where she's sitting. But yes, technically, Anthony Moranti, the councilman of the 6th district, the guy that talks, I don't know if it's circles. I don't know what shape it is, but it's everywhere. And I can't understand what he's trying to get to. He doesn't make a real clear, concise statement usually. And I think he may be doing that on purpose. I don't know. Anthony Moranti is the budget chair because he's an accountant. That's what he is by trade. He's the most qualified of them all to review the budget, which is the city council's primary responsibility, reviewing the mayor's budget, assuring that what's included in there is what's needed to be in there, not a penny more, not a penny less, and everything that needs to be addressed financially is. But do they do that? No. They just do what they're told, and which is why I'm disappointed in Anthony Moranti, because he is the expert, right? He has tax help on his license plate. I hear that John Rubo may have been or may still be a client of his, one of his tax clients, and John Rubo currently is having some tax issues to the point where I hear even the administration, the mayor, is looking to distance himself. And I don't know if it has anything to do with the PPP loans that he got and didn't have to pay back, yet he was sued for unpaid wages recently. That doesn't make sense. Or maybe the fact that he has a company that no one knew about until I discussed it right here on Basement Politics, A Perfect Solution, John Rubo Consulting, Inc. And what did they do? And why did they get a PPP loan, which was also forgiven? For one employee? Who's that employee? I would imagine it's John Rubo himself. And so were you his accountant at that time? Because he needs tax help now, Moranti. And why aren't you bringing up some of these issues or these points that I bring up in terms of the money and the spending and the extra hours that all these individuals seem to have in their bank that they did not earn? All the promotions that take place. The city is financially strapped. Technically, we are in debt, almost $3 billion, 2.94. Should we be giving all these promotions as well as these raises and these contracts? You knew that the contracts were coming up. Maybe we can hold off on promotions, or maybe you can get promotion without a raise if you really want the title. But we have to start to save money. We have to cut wasteful spending. And yes, we appreciate our police officers and we adore them and we want them to be safe, but we all should be willing to make a sacrifice for the city of Yonkers. But sometimes those that work for the city, or many times, don't understand that because they don't live here. And so for them to care about saving money so we can allocate that to our educational system is not their priority. Their kids go to Yorktown schools, Carmel schools, right? They're not here in the city of Yonkers, or they may go to private schools. And I'm not knocking it, but what I'm saying is for those who have children in the Yonkers public schools, we care. And we want to see them fund that a lot more than what they're trying to present to us as if we should be really happy with that. No, parents, do not be satisfied for the crumbs that they're giving our children. Absolutely not. You should be ashamed of the way our school district looks. And getting rid of Quesada is not going to change anything, not when you have a strong mayor form of government and they have taken complete control. Happened back in 2014. In my opinion, with the help of Nader Sage, who was the president of the school board of trustees at the time. There was an accounting error. $55 million went missing, or they thought it did. But however, some, I don't know who it was, some accounting finance guy made a mistake. He accounted for $55 million that was not promised to the city of Yonkers by the state. So they moved forward, assuming they had this money coming in, and now we don't. And now we're 55 million in the hole. So nobody double checked this guy, not the city council, whose main responsibility is to review the budget. No, nobody. This mistake happened. And so what did the mayor do? He made a deal with the state to take over a New York State dependent school district and put it under the city's administration and under control, the finance, the entire operational administrative office, the HR department, hiring and firing. And so that really left the superintendent just as a mere, what do you call that? Just for show. He's just there. Symbolic. It's like the Queen of England. And so not much could be done by Quesada because he'd always have to go to the administration for approval. And ultimately, they have the final say. So, for those who may want to blame Quesada for the conditions of the schools, ultimately, the administration and our city council are in charge of that. And they have let us down because they'll pass all this stuff, right? They love to give away our tax money to individuals or to things that will benefit them. They get the endorsement of the police department. Oh, developers, we'll pay for your consultant because you need help with your proposal. Or we'll pay for the secret study because we want to help you make millions of dollars. Don't worry, the taxpayers will take care of that. Right, Wilson? Promotions without permission, without positions. Earth to Yonkers homeowners and taxpayers. Yeah, absolutely, man. You guys need to be more involved. You have to understand what's going on. Read the comprehensive annual financial report of 2022. Study it, understand it, absolutely. And I shared a copy of it on the page maybe sometime last week. So if you want to go back, and I will share a copy of it again. And it's very important. If you are a homeowner and you pay taxes, if you care about the city, if you have your children in the Yonkers public schools, if you care about the roads that you drive on every day, if you care about the infrastructure, the condition of the water and sewage systems, have you seen what the pipes look like? This is important. This is very, very important. And when people don't care or are too bogged down with everything else to pay attention or be concerned with what's happening, then they get away with things. And so this is why I'm here. We're going to work together to keep them in check so they can no longer get away with things. We have to work together. Here, Mike Breen, he should have recused himself from this vote. His yes votes directly benefits his family, his 2 children. They get part of the increases with this contract as sergeants, CLSA, Captains, Lieutenants, Sergeants Association. He said it. Spoke to Matt Gallagher. It's no problem. Of course, Matt is never going to ever say there's a problem. When is Matt going to ever say that?
It's fair. I think everything is fair, and I am supporting it. So thank you, Madam Council President, Budget Chair.
Thank you. Any other? Okay, I see.
Nothing
Majority
that
Leader Diaz.
accountant,
Thank you.
you would think
Council
accountant
President.
would say.
I too wanted to say that I am in support of this. I want to thank the police department, the captains for coming out, because we all know they are the ones that keep our city safe. So we have to get this contract done to ensure that the safety of the city and their well-being with their family members and all is on the upkeep. This is something that should have been done, and we're going to do this today. So I am in support of this.
Thank you.
I thought Corazon Pineda Isaac, who seems to be playing with her fingers there, was absent. Maybe she joined the party a little late. Corazon Pineda Isaac said nothing. Someone who's been very vocal about the crime increase here in the city of Yonkers, and she's not lying. Crime is up. Does anyone know what happened on Yonkers Avenue over by Planet Fitness? It's a memorial that's been placed there. No one knows what happened. Just curious. Someone reached out to me. I'm not sure. But she's very quiet, very silent. She doesn't want to say anything bad against the police, and she knows that they are not going to endorse it anyway. You see, Keith Olsen, he responded to her criticism of the mayor, not necessarily the police. Not sure why Keith Olsen responded. She was criticizing the mayor. The mayor is saying that we are the safest big city, or one of the safest big cities in the country. But crime is up. The fact is, statistically, crime is up. Shoplifting is up. Petty theft is up. It may not be murders, but shootings are still happening. Gang violence is up. Gang violence in the schools is up. There are incidents that are happening that are not being made public. And so there are a lot of things happening. Just because Ruros doesn't cover it on Yonkers Voice doesn't mean it's not happening. What he covers is not everything. There are things that he will not go to for specific reasons or will not discuss. So you have to understand that there are things that you just don't know about that are happening. And crime is up. I will support Corazon in saying that. But Corazon has been there for 12 years. What has she done? Crime has always been up in her district over in the Nodine Hill section. What has she done? What has she done to make an impact there? And how will she make an impact in the entire city? I mean, has she done such a remarkable job in Nodine Hill? And we'd see no one getting shot, police officers not getting shot in bodegas, people standing on the corner, and multiple people getting shot, 6-year-olds getting hit with stray bullets. These are incidents that's all have happened within the past 2 years over in the Nodine Hill section. And now she's speaking out. But she was someone who was repeating or echoing the same message not that long ago. We are the safest big city. We are one of the safest big cities. And now that you're running for mayor, crime is up. Now you're right. Crime is up.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, we will close the floor, but I will say thank you for the members of CLSA who have come out today for this council meeting, and thank you all for all the hard work that you do on behalf of the city. And I too will be supporting this item.
Of course.
If there are no further questions or comments, we will close the floor and bring this item to a vote. Do we need a roll call or all members by name?
Adopted.
All members by name? Okay, Mr. Deputy Clerk, all members by name?
Adopted 7-0. Council President, the next item, item number 7, is a resolution urging the New York State Assembly.
The comment was that I had made an ad.
Hochul to sign the legislation.
Name?
They're going to talk about housing program, bro, and I want to talk about that also. But really quick, the mayor, I don't know what it is, but this is an amazing, I think this is going to go into a Guinness Book of World Records. Everything pretty much gets passed here in the city of Yonkers or adopted 7-0. 7-0. That means they all agree. They always agree. Except for when it comes to important issues, like the Affordable Housing Ordinance, like the redistricting map. The important issues they take forever to get through, pass, if they ever get them passed. They can never agree. And we may never see that stuff ever happen, like the Affordable Housing Ordinance, which we're going to speak about right now. Where's that at? Pandering to police officers and the fire department for their endorsements so that you can show the people that you care about them because we love them so much. Doesn't get anything done. Besides, maybe get you reelected.
All members by name? Okay, Mr. Deputy Clerk, all members by name?
Adopted 7-0. Council President, the next item, item number 7, is a resolution urging the New York State Assembly and New York State Senate to pass legislation to create a housing access voucher program and for Governor Hochul to sign the legislation into law.
We will open the floor for discussion on this item. Seeing none, we will close the floor, but I will say that just in time, Councilman Moranti.
Thank you, Council President. Yeah, I will be supporting this item. It did come up previously in a committee, and I think that this is something that normally I may not normally support in terms of in spending money, because again, it's going to cost the taxpayers money. I do it for various reasons. Number one, if the comment was that I had made, and I had asked you, Council President, was that the money is there, that the state is not going to be creating new taxes to fulfill this. I can live with it. Additionally, this also helps me feel that as we go through we know the state budget is late at this particular time, that I'm hoping that we're not going to hear that the city was cut any revenue for any aid for our schools, and maybe even we'll get a boost in the A money for a change from $108 million. So obviously,
You gotta love this. You gotta love this. You gotta love these individuals. I mean, they are incredible. I guess maybe they're so used to people not really paying attention. That's the question you should have asked in terms of the contract, Moranti. Is it going to raise taxes? Are we going to have to, fund this or increase the added cost to the taxpayers somehow? But you're worried about this legislation that they seem to want to get passed so quickly when it comes to housing. Yeah, we're still waiting on a housing ordinance. But what this is basically they're passing legislation in support legislation to support in support of a housing bill so the state can give more money and vouchers. But who really benefits? And no, Moranti, the city's not going to raise any taxes because the money is going to come from the state and elsewhere. And you know that. So the question is not valid. That question should have been for the prior item, the CLSA contract. Now he's in support of this. Now you guys have not passed the housing ordinance, right? You really want to, help with the housing crisis? Then get a housing ordinance passed. Stop bringing so many luxury developments in. Bring in more jobs for the people that don't have jobs so they can afford to pay for their housing. Build more affordable. Work on legislation that keeps the cost of living down. Or work on legislation that brings up the cost of, the wages, what people have to pay. And I'm a business owner, I maybe shouldn't be saying that, but I'm just telling you what makes sense, right? You can't force, obviously, business owners to pay more, or I guess you do through minimum wages, but bring in jobs. Bring in good jobs instead of luxury developments that cause the rents all over Yonkers to go up. Rather than pass legislation right away to support a housing bill for more money, for vouchers, to make more vouchers available. Who gets those vouchers ultimately? Developers, real estate investors, the landlords. So they're passing legislation so that they can get more taxpayer money funneled to these developers. And then when the money's up, then what? So this is housing voucher program is for homeless or those that are in eviction court. But if they don't have a job, what are they going to do when the money's up? Then what?
obviously, the state has some money, so we possibly don't have a revenue problem. I have other issues with their budget, especially raising the minimum wage, but that's not in the agenda for tonight. But I will be supporting this item because also the fact that, people, deserve to have a place to live, and I can't when I go shopping these days, I can't understand how
Listen to
the
this
average
guy.
person does it. I mean, I myself work 24/7, 365. Everybody knows that that's what I do. And I can afford these additional costs, but I just can't believe how people can survive today. And I'm still trying to figure out what the real term affordable housing means, because affordable housing and these prices are just crazy. So I'm going to support this in the hopes that we take care of our problems here in the city of Yonkers.
Wow. Says the guy who voted against the affordable housing ordinance. And I would say he's saying this because he wants to be mayor, right? So he's going to say this, of course. But he's not just saying this because he wants to be mayor. Because ultimately, folks, this is for people, the rich people. This is for the developers, for the real estate investors, so they can get more money funneled to them. They create more money from more vouchers, I should say, from taxpayer money. They take that money and they give it to people who they say homeless or who are in the eviction process, so they can take that money and then give it to the landlord that are evicting them. I don't want to say no names. I don't want to single anybody out. But go to the eviction court in Yonkers and see who's there. See who are staples of the eviction court, who pretty much run it, because it's not the judges. Not all the time. And so instead of passing an affordable housing ordinance and working on the AMI and all that good stuff that impact the people here, because there is a housing crisis, no, they have yet to do anything with that. But they are passing legislation in support of getting more tax money from the state to create more voucher programs so that these developers can get these vouchers, so that those that are developing affordable housing can have money. That's what it's all about. That's why Moranti's supporting it, because it benefits those guys. And he knows it. Because again, they're not giving anything to the people. They're not giving them a job. They're not giving them any skills. They're prolonging the inevitable while siphoning money, while funneling money, taxpayer money, into these wealthy and rich real estate people. That's what it's all about. So when the money's up, what are they going to do? Pass legislation for more voucher programs, more taxpayer money from the people that are working, that are trying to pay their own housing costs, right? And so now they just take the money, give it to people instead of giving them jobs, giving them affordable housing, build more affordable housing, work on the AMI. Stop bringing all these developments in here. These luxury developments are causing the cost of living to increase. That's what you do, Moranti. Because what's happening is these developments are pushing people out, Moranti. So if you care that much, and if you know that it's a lot, what is really affordable, he says? What is really affordable housing? Because he doesn't see how these people can pay it with the minimum wage, right? So bring in jobs that are paying better than the minimum wage. Don't bring in luxury developments that are charging $3,000 a month for a one-bedroom. Build more affordable. Hire the people from the area. That's how you do it. Unbelievable. Better days are coming. Are you speaking of Corazon Pineda Isaac? Is that what you're referring to, John? Because I don't know if that's better days. I don't know. Unfortunately, what do we have, right? Because again, this whole process is skewed for a certain group of individuals. You see, they're already challenging people's petitions. Now you have to have money to go and fight this in court. Not everybody can do this. Not everybody who's going to go through this has the time to deal with this, even though we need change. Right? So what do we get? We get who? Corazon. I mean, again, John, I told you, she's going to be easy to just, look what you did here, look what you said here. Now you're saying this. That's what I don't understand about the people who really, oh yeah, this is the one. Really? What's the difference? You know how many people I said I'd rather just deal with Spano? Just saying, man. You guys didn't play your cards right, man. I told you guys you didn't play your cards right. You didn't play your cards right because you were eager for the win. Anybody to be Spano. Anybody, we just want to be Spano. It's emotional. That's emotional. You can't just dislike Spano and hate Spano and just want to take him out. No, it can't be about that, right? So it's got to be about actually the cause, right? Creating change that's needed in the city. And who is going to really bring that change? People, I know in sales, I've been in sales, when people feel that you're genuine, they can feel that from you, they're going to come to you. They're going to gravitate to you organically, naturally. You're not going to have to do all this stuff, to get signatures and all that and fool people with the food distributions and all that. People will gravitate towards you, right? And then that person will do a great job. We want you genuine, honest, nice people. That's a legitimate candidate. Someone that is capable also and that truly wants to make a change for the better. That's not flip-flopping, that's not lying, doesn't have an agenda that you can see right through. That's not the legitimate candidate, right? So that's the problem, I think. The definition of legitimate candidate, I think we don't agree on that. You know what I'm saying? Me and other people, I'm just saying you, because for us to just say a legitimate candidate is somebody that can raise the money, that's not, we want somebody that's going to go in there and not rob us and not make decisions based on their donors and everybody else except for the residents. That's a legitimate candidate. Someone that's going to care about the people, put the people first, make decisions that are in the best interest of the people every single time. That's the right candidate. That's the legitimate candidate, John. That's what I was saying to you. What we have now is just people that have machines, right? And so they could win or they can get on the ballot, right? Because of these machines. But is that who we really want? Now we're left with who really, right? That's what I'm saying. We don't ever have a real fair election. We don't ever choose really who we want. We choose between the people that get presented before us, people that have a machine that can go out there and put people out and get a bunch of petition signatures, that can afford attorneys to battle the challenges, that have nothing else going on, really, right? So they can focus on this solely because this is their career, pretty much. And even if they have a job with the county or with the city, they're not really there all the time like you're supposed to be, like everyone else when they go to work. They're there every day, all day until they clock out. But not these individuals. They get to double dip. They get to use resources of the city for their campaigns. Just ask Lohud. They wanted to do an article about it. Seda Jarris, a city employee, 150 signatures all on her own. When did she do that? Many people saw city employees going out and getting petition signatures. So that's why, Lakeisha Collins Bellamy, when you passed the legislation to extend the term limits, you were doing a bad thing. You were taking away the people's right to have fair elections. You were. Most people want change. And you took away that right because now people who were going to enter the race, who anticipated Mike Spano not being in it because of term limits, stepped away. Good people stepped away because they don't want to get into the nasty, dirty politics. They don't. That's not who they are. And so you limited the pool of people that we are now able to vote on, right? And so Westchester County election, Board of Elections, guys, we're on to you. We're watching you guys now. All of you up there, all those absentee ballots that you guys are going to be giving out, we're going to be up there. We're going to have crews filming you, filming who's going in and out of the Board of Elections. You have to watch these people. You remember yesterday's podcast? David Tubiolo's mom works there. I just found that out. I mean, it's no fairness. So anyway, folks, I'm Freddy Vazquez. I'm up out of here. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I just wanted to go over that meeting on Tuesdays. That's what I do. If you're new to the podcast, I'll go over the Tuesday city council meeting, which is usually every Tuesday. But over summer, they take breaks and all that. But I will go over them. So join me for Tuesdays if you're interested, which you should be. It's not just for the podcast. I don't want you to come watch Freddy Vazquez. I want you to come hear the information. So I present the city council meetings. I go over it. You may learn something. You may not. You may already know what I'm discussing. You may educate me. Write it in the comments. I learn every day. I love learning. I'm learning along with you folks. I'm fairly new to politics here in Yonkers. Maybe like just under 2 years I've been, paying attention to it. So I'm still learning myself. So let's learn together. Let's make an impact. Let the good people rise up and make a change here. And let's get the political players out, the operatives that have been, damaging our democracy here and ultimately, sending our city down the toilet. Look at where we're headed. Look around you. This place is crazy. It's nuts now. I'm getting tired of the scooter guys, and wear a damn helmet and stop running red lights and the panhandling everywhere. God, I don't have no money anymore. I'm broke. My house husband, leave me alone. Right? There's panhandlers everywhere, double parked cars everywhere, Ubers everywhere, Lyfts everywhere, cabs everywhere, potholes everywhere. City people driving 25 miles an hour because that's what they're used to in the city. And it drives me nuts. Better, the feds are here. Keep the feds are here? Well, will I get credit for something? Because I've done a lot. And I only say because in politics, you have to brag about what you do in order to get noticed, right? In order for people to give appreciation. A lot of the things that are happening that they're doing here in the city, from checking on fire hydrants, for patching up the roads, that was what we were doing here on Basement Politics. We were putting it out there. And as we put it out there, they would go out and do it literally the same day. If I complained about a fire hydrant being broke, they fixed it. If I complained about potholes, that day they fixed it. They're showing more academic stuff. They're showing the kids that the cadet programs. They're trying to make that more visible. They're announcing jobs within the city hall, which I don't think you're going to get it anyway. But they want to say, hey, look, we're posting it. I'm even getting emails for meetings and stuff. I don't know why. Since when they put me on their email list. Narissa, Matt. I appreciate it, though. I'll take it. But we got them asking questions a little more in the city council meetings, talking more in the city council meetings, looking more professional in the city council meetings, because we put the pressure on them right here on Basement Politics with Freddy Vazquez. Have a beautiful and blessed night. I will see you when I see you. The feds are here. Well, Gran Corazon's going to go too. So who's going to be the man? And she was a part of it. There's no doubt about it. She was involved in whatever was going on there. All of them were. We're not going to kid ourselves, right? We're going to play dumb? No, not her. No, not this one. They all knew. They go to Somos in Puerto Rico and plan on it. What do you think they were doing in the Royal, whatever you call that, the Royal Castle Royale? Why are they not meeting at City Hall? What are they planning at the Castle Royale that they could not plan at City Hall? See city council member card there, mayor was there, and they do this often. It's like, when the mob would have their clubhouses, their social clubs. That's what that's like. That's their social club. And they go there because they believe it's not tapped. But they're scared of wiretaps. And if you didn't hear the story, I'm going to tell you anyway. One day, I decided to buy the ladies at the building department a lily because I have been dealing with them, going through some issues, and it wasn't their fault. So I wanted to show them that I'm not really a bad guy. I'm not. You get to know me. You be like, yo, what are these people saying about you, Freddy? Like, it's crazy. I know, but it's cool. I whatever. And so I buy the lily. I bring it to them. It cost me like $30. Just want to be nice. Here you go, ladies. Thank you for everything. I appreciate it. I'm not a horrible guy. Here you go. I have a lot of respect for women, So I later found out that they got rid of it because they thought that it was bugged, that I had put a listening device in it. So this is how scared they are. What are you doing? What are you guys doing that you're so scared of listening devices and stuff? If you weren't doing anything wrong, you would have been like, all right, well, he's got a bug. Well, let him hear us do work, right? There's a lot of stuff going on here in the city of Yonkers. And the day that they come and seriously strip this place apart, and go from top to bottom through all the books, whatever is left, whatever hasn't been burned, shredded, or been disappeared. It's going to be an incredible, incredible story one day on Netflix. Guarantee it. Have a beautiful night. It's bad.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vazquez.
Thank you, folks. I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics. Yes, the feds have been here forever, but guess what, folks? The feds have actually reached out to me. True story. They called me up one day, called my office. I thought it was a scam, but it wasn't. They have an office in Rye. They wanted to know about the Ludlow project. This is a true story. They are definitely investigating Yonkers. They're just looking for something that will stick. So if you are fed up with what's going on and you have information, email it to politicwithfred@gmail.com. I'll make sure that the special agent in charge gets it. This is no lie. This is no kidding. This is a true story. They watch my podcast. They asked me, what's the podcast called? I said, it's Basement Politics with Freddy Fatality.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vazquez. You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vazquez.
I was some of them, I'd be worried. I'd be real concerned, seriously. The underlings better have some information that y'all could give the feds first so you can get the better deal.
Thank you for watching Basement Politics with my husband, Freddy Vazquez.
That's my amazing wife, folks. Andrea Vazquez. She's an amazing assistant principal here in the city of Yonkers. I am really, literally treading on dangerous, how do you say that? Grounds, or because my wife works for the school, and it's a known fact that people who speak out will get fired. There will be a level of retaliation that will pretty much destroy you or attempt to destroy you. So many people keep quiet. They don't say anything. They go along with it. This is known as, among the drug cartels, and it started with Pablo Escobar, as plata o plomo. You either take the bullets or take the money. And most of them take the money. But many of them have involved themselves in illegal activity. And therefore, they are a part of this crime syndicate. This is no exaggeration, folks. So I'm taking that risk, folks. And, my wife and I have spoken about it, and God will watch us, pray for her. That's what they decide to do. We're prepared for it, but hopefully that won't be the case. She does an amazing job. Students, staff alike will attest to it. And so they can't find anything on her, but you never know, right? But I have to speak the truth. I cannot be allowed to be dictated, right, or influenced by monetary gain, materialistic things. I've been there, I've done that. We have to do the right thing in life. That's all we have in this world when we go. Did we do the right thing? It's not about how much money you made, how many houses you had. Did you do the right thing?
No!